Welcome to the podcast. I am Hudson. Nikki is also here. That's her voice. And Isaiah.
Howdy.
That's his voice.
That's how he says howdy. Welcome to, we're still doing our RadioU fall fundraiser. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit shorter of a podcast, if you noticed yesterday, but full of heart and full of spirit.
Yeah. We're still doing
a lot of effort.
Yeah. Well, we're putting in all the effort to raise money for RadioU, which hosts our podcast. We're the Riot on RadioU. So if you have not checked out RadioU.com, consider donating and just put in the comment section that you're a podcast listener, because it does cost a lot to be able to host this podcast every day. Mm-hmm. It's not cheap, and it's hard because the more listeners we get for the podcast, the more expensive it is to have the podcast, but it's worth it since, you guys are a part of our RadioU family as well. So go to RadioU.com and help donate if you can.
So what do we have today, Isaiah?
Today on the podcast, we had a conversation about if mayonnaise is appropriate on many different things, but one of them being coffee.
It's not on, it's in coffee.
In
coffee.
And some of us said yes. Some of us said no.
Ooh, find out who said what.
Yeah. Who do you think said they want coffee?
Who could be the person who would go, never had it, never had it, hated it? Who could that be?
Who could it be?
Who might say that about mayo and coffee?
I think you'll have to find out, but I still think either during our fundraiser next week, or it might be better after. Perhaps we take maybe an after show, or we try some other unique things that people put in coffee that are like non-traditional.
Yeah.
And you could throw in the mayonnaise as an option then.
I'm happy to give it a shot, is all I will say.
We also talked about, and this was the segment that I felt like not for once, but it's pretty rare that I agree with Hudson on things. And one of the things I agree with him with was the urinating on mailboxes.
Yeah, you think it's... Wait.
The postal worker who got in trouble because he peed on a mailbox at a condo place.
But he's, according to the condo residents, he didn't get in enough trouble. But according to, I guess, Isaiah and I, he got in an appropriate amount of trouble.
I think
he's not fired, but what else do you think should happen?
See, listen, I think I agree with Hudson the fact that if no one saw it, did it ever really even happen?
Yeah.
They did see it, though.
Yes, I know it. They saw it. But do I think what he did was wrong? Yes. But in the fact that there was, nobody really, there was...
No one was hurt.
No one was hurt.
Is it a fireable offense?
Yeah.
I guess they could really probably just fix the issue by switching him to a different mail route.
Oh, they wouldn't even know.
Yeah, then nobody would...
Then you can act like he was fired.
See, and if he wasn't a postal worker, is that an appropriate reason to be fired from another job? Let's say you caught Hudson or I doing it. Are we fired?
I don't want to. I just don't want to.
He's like, yes, you are.
I don't know. It's awkward. It's very awkward. But I feel like if these were different times and then it was really hard to get a job delivering mail, you would have totally been fired for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've lost the trust of your route. They just can't believe in you or the postal service. They take it all the way up.
Through rain or sleet or snow or really needing to go to the bathroom, they get your mail delivered.
Every day.
And you have to take what comes along with that sometimes. And that includes going to the bathroom when they need to.
I wish we could have gotten more side from the postal worker, because is it a case of you're not allowed to stop your route? I know so many delivery drivers are pushed.
Yeah.
They have so many packages to deliver and they can't stop.
Amazon probably encourages this.
Well, they probably have something built into the truck, a bathroom in the back.
Bathroom in the back of the truck.
So I wish we knew more of why did he go to the bathroom at the mailboxes? Because then I might feel a little bit more sympathetic if it's hey, I don't have enough workers. I can't literally stop to go to the bathroom. So what was the video from a few years? It's not even a few years ago, but the guy was peeing, going up the steps to deliver the mail at the person, and he was just peeing up the steps. Do you remember that one?
Right.
Was it down the leg peeing, or was it just open?
It was open.
Oh, goodness.
He was just peeing, and you could just see the pee on the steps and up to the front porch of this lady's house.
I think that's worse. I think that's worse.
That's way worse.
That was
way so
worse.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to watch that video again.
Yes, that's terrible. I mean, at least at least it was contained to the mailbox, where that is just
that's lazy.
Yeah, you're lazy. Just walking and going, and it's too much. Talked about all that. We also had some older segments as well. We talked about a trend that was going on where you put ketchup in your hair.
Yeah.
And Hudson,
mayonnaise.
Man, I don't remember that at all.
Hudson was
Couldn't have been that long ago.
Let me remind you, Hudson was quoted, even though he has these luscious locks, he said that he wants to put as little effort in them as he possibly can, which I thought that was interesting, because if you're a person who has long hair, then you'd think like you'd want it to like look good,
that's the unfair part, because when it's like you really try to put effort into your hair, that's when your hair is just a mess.
Yes.
But for the person who has long hair and doesn't care, then we're jealous at people like Hudson who don't put any effort in.
And it just looks luscious every day.
But you also have to remember that the whole reason that my hair is long is not because I think it looks good. It's because I don't want to put in the effort of going to get it cut.
He's afraid of the barber.
Yeah, I am.
It's not that he doesn't want to put the effort in. He's afraid.
That's right.
Well, either way, it's great that your hair grows so fast. Good for you. Well, enjoy the podcast today. Enjoy what we have to offer while our fundraiser's going on. And don't forget RadioU.com to help donate and help the Worst of Riot podcast.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
It's not payday for the garbage men in the town of Marseille in France. Is that how you say it? Marseille?
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's just say France. A town in
it's
France.
a France town. It's on the water. It's on the beach. And so what's happening is the garbage workers are on strike and the trash is piling up. In fact, so much so that it is blowing onto the beach and into the ocean. So
oh, really?
That's a big problem. But the reason they are on strike is because they don't want to work more than 21 hours in a week.
So they would like 21 hours a week, 21 hours to 35 hours.
That's
what they were attempting to increase it to.
So to be clear, they've been working 21 hours a week. That's been their job. It's a full-time job. 21 hours a week. How does that sound?
They say, though, that because they have not been able to agree on a deal, because the council would like the trash men to work longer hours, up to 35, which is still shocking.
That's still one of the shortest in the world. However, that's more in line with what most people in France would work.
Sure. And then if they could agree on that, but instead they were striking and not picking up trash. Now the police are involved because it is becoming a ecological disaster area.
Yeah.
Because it's getting to the beach and into the water. So they don't care if it's just bad in the city.
Yeah. Who cares about the people?
If it hurts the water.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you wouldn't want the seagulls to have to deal with any trash.
No. I mean, if you look at pictures of it, if you've ever been to New York City or like any downtown place, it's not far off from what you can see in a downtown area.
Yeah, and these are the worst pictures they could find. Like they're sifting through after they sent somebody to town to take all these pictures.
Well,
these are the worst.
They were saying even some of these, though, are after the trash was picked up.
Yikes.
Like this is still the leftover stuff. So they're looking to introduce national legislation that would require public sector employees to work the national average, which is a 35-hour week starting January 1st, and the trash workers still say no.
Man, what a backwards. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much. I'm assuming. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that most of our public employees in the United States work the 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
Whereas in France, the normal work week is 35 for the average Joe Schmo, but for their public sector employees, it says that they work a lot less. A lot of them do the 21. A lot of them do work the 21-hour work week.
How mature are you? Oh, that's all this is, isn't it?
It is. It just doesn't make it. But, wouldn't we be outraged if they're like, here in the United States, guess who gets a shorter work week than everyone else?
Well, there was
people that work for the government.
There's been a big shortage for trash picker-uppers, like the trashmen here, because they had to bring in other people from different cities. And if you are even a part of like any community Facebook groups and stuff, if you want to see people that are mad about something, find out when there's trash problems and people get heated.
Justifiably so.
Yeah.
When my recycling doesn't get picked up, it very quickly starts to look at my house just like it does in these pictures. So I need the recycling people to be on time. Is that too much to ask?
If the trash workers refuse, they face a maximum sentence of 6 months in prison and a fine. If they do not start picking up the trash, the trash men will also receive, trash people will receive 9 weeks of holiday each year.
They keep saying trash men, bin
do.
men,
Bin
garbage
men.
men in the story. Maybe they need to start hiring garbage ladies. Have you thought about that?
This is made up of annual leave, and then there's 4 weeks of rest leave that's provided. So they say that is there to prevent the bin men from being exhausted. I just have a very hard time.
I think I've found a new job.
I know.
You want to
go.
Yeah, let's go start. We'll be bin men in France.
Bin people, and I want to drive the truck. I'm going to let you do the stuff outside.
Well, you would get one of those trucks that just
Have the
has the
arms.
arm, so I don't even have to get out either. I just kind of ride on the back.
I think you have to get off for this one.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to actually pick it up.
When we're so behind, yeah, I think so.
Store at room temperature? Now that they can do. The Riot RadioU.
Hellman's, as in the mayo company. Some might say this is trolling. Some call it a sling blade. I call it a Kaiser blade. They posted...
What? What did you say?
What, the Billy Bob Thornton movie, Sling
Yes.
Blade?
Yeah.
You've seen it, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
He just wants you to agree with
He
him.
just said it so quickly and like it was so nonchalantly that it just caught me way off guard.
Okay, yes. So they tweeted, mayo in your coffee. That's it. That's the tweet.
That's
It was
disgusting.
Terrible.
causing a stir. Why do we even bring Isaiah in on this? He doesn't like coffee.
Yeah,
he doesn't
but
even drink it.
Listen,
so
it's a team effort.
Never
It's a
had
team
a hater.
effort,
It's a
Hudson.
team effort.
You invite me in here, and then I get in here and you berate me. What do you want from me?
That's the team.
I just feel
Exactly.
that Nikki actually invited you in here, and I think it's so you guys could gang up on me for saying that
Well, I
this
did
might
think-
not be a bad idea.
Oh my gosh.
No, I think it's disgusting. I think mayo, mayonnaise,
I know.
It's
whatever
gross.
you want to call it is gross. And the fact that you put it in your coffee, I don't think it's too far off from what's the one for like the butter one. What do they call that?
And lots of people did that.
Yeah.
Bullet coffee. Yeah.
Bullet coffee, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too far off
You
from
know what?
that.
I've tried the bullet coffee. The butter isn't the problem. It's the other, like the oil thing you're supposed to put in it that makes it keto.
Sure.
That was hard. That makes it horrible. So with mayo, I guess it could be oily potentially, but you know what?
Because wouldn't that just be putting fat in there?
Yeah.
Well, you put a lot of creamer in your coffee, so how is it so different?
What do you?
Listen,
What?
don't
It's
throw-
mayonnaise.
Maybe the first person when Coffee Mate tweeted out, hundreds of years ago, they tweeted out, Coffee Mate in your coffee. That's it. That's the tweet. Maybe everybody was like, no, we can't do that. Cream and coffee? Are you out of your minds?
Yeah, but
And
cream
then-
is so
and now
good.
look,
It's like a
Mayo is so
well-known.
good.
No, mayonnaise is a very controversial kind of condiment that people don't like or they really like,
and
it's not good in
I
coffee.
really like it. I
No,
like it.
Oh my
It's good.
gosh, you would never. This is the thing: is people would never do this. If you
Well,
say you would do this,
now
then
I
I don't even know what to say to you.
I do think if you go back like 100 years, they're like, what do we put in the coffee? Like,
Yeah.
mayonnaise makes sense back then. I don't know how old
What?
mayo is, but nowadays, no. Have you been to the creamer section? We don't need anything like that.
What if it's
No.
a whole new unexplored world and all of a sudden, first
don't want that
first you
world.
put original mayo in your coffee, then it goes so well, it's like, well, we're going to start coming out with cinnamon mayo, and we're going to come out with maple mayo and cookie mayo and all these mayos that you can put in your coffee, and they call it, coffee mayo. Yeah, I don't know.
Coffee mayo.
You need a better name for that, but
Well, I'm gonna let
it
you
could
work
be
on
a
that.
match made in heaven. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I like coffee. I like mayo. I think there's potential there.
Why don't we plan, someone write this down,
Mm-hmm.
for next week when we're done with the fundraiser. This is why we need to get fully funded, guys.
Yes.
We got to get back to
we
the
got to be
big
able to get
stuff.
some mayonnaise in here.
Is
Then
this really
We're going to plop a dollop of mayo in your coffee, and you can...
Why do you have to put it that
Specifically
way?
your
Why do you have to put
coffee.
it that way? Plop a dollop.
And then you tell us what you think about the mayo in that.
Are you sure that this
That you
doesn't
get
have
to
to be
do it?
post fundraiser, and it doesn't have to be a week from now? This is more of a TikTok. It's just a minute where we just plop it. We could do this shorter and quicker and easier.
We need to all be involved.
I want you.
Yeah,
I
but
want
you
you to
guys aren't
say
even
on
gonna try
air.
it.
I want you to say on air that you were wrong and that it tastes disgusting. That's what I want to happen.
I will never do that. No,
I'm just gonna
I
take a
will
drink of it and be
never-
like, it's not terrible, terrible.
You have a great time with that. But mayo and coffee should. I think they're just trolling.
No, I'm willing to put my mayo where my mouth is. I will try this, and I don't know if I'll go back to it, but you're also talking to the guy that put Tabasco in his coffee.
Welcome to The Riot, where you listen to us and that's it. It's pretty much a one-way street. The Riot. RadioU.
We've got a mailman who was caught peeing can I say peeing?
Yeah.
Urinating?
Sure.
He was caught urinating, relieving himself.
It's all awful.
on a mailbox in a condominium complex.
Sure.
And so
Like
he's
inside or on the side, like if a dog walks by?
I think it's on the side.
Yeah.
I think it's on the, not actually, I don't think he peed on the mail. But
because that's too much.
That would be a bridge too far. He has been charged with public indecency. Mm-hmm. However, he has not been taken off of his mail route.
Well, times are tough. They only have so many people. Apparently, you haven't crossed the line yet when they're desperately searching for people to work for them.
But the people of the condominium complex are concerned. In fact, one of the residents there admits that he went up to him and confronted him about it.
Yeah.
He says he seemed pretty combative, is what the resident said.
So did he do it often or just that one time?
As far as we know, just the one time.
Because we have read plenty of stories where there are some people that are not embarrassed about going to the bathroom in public.
Uh-huh.
Like they have no problem with it. There's no shame.
I was thinking... It doesn't specifically say it was done while he was on the job, although I'm assuming.
I bet it was.
What if it wasn't?
Well,
if he just randomly went and peed there.
Then you're also not supposed to do that.
But but that shouldn't affect your job. Right?
It questions. Right? It makes you question everything.
If I peed on a mailbox.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it.
Would that affect, if I didn't do it on the clock,
would.
if I was off the clock, what?
It would affect how I look at you, so then therefore maybe I can't do the job with you.
Maybe it'd make the show even better.
I don't know. I used to live near a golf course, near one of the holes.
Yeah.
And man, people would pee there all the time. You just look out the window.
Why is the grass so tall here?
And you're like, why are you doing that? So I just think some people have no problem with it.
Maybe it's a long mail route.
And
maybe
he has no other place to stop.
He has no other place to go. Yeah. Maybe, what if this would be ironic. What if it's against protocol to stop in your mail car at McDonald's and go potty while you're on the clock?
Maybe.
So he had to find some way to do it. And this is his way of getting around the rules, because I was just working. So you can't be too mad.
If the only concern I have is if he's going to the bathroom near where people go and walk just a moment later to get their mail.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Like you can go around the back where there's more bushes and hide back there. But it didn't seem like he wanted to do that. I also have a problem if it was more than number one.
Oh, well.
That's where we have a real issue.
That would, for some reason, yes, that would make it worse.
Yes, it does.
But especially if you didn't pick it up with a bag afterwards. But that was what I was going to say.
I can't do that. Who can do that? It's not a dog. You can't pick up.
I was going to say there's a good possibility that he's not the first creature that has urinated there before.
True.
So why are we getting so up in arms? I guess somebody must have seen him. But if nobody saw him, if a man pees on a mailbox and nobody's around to see it, did it even happen?
Listen, I'm just telling you because you seemed in the beginning to question some of this.
Yeah.
I don't want you to ever do that. And if we do find out that you did that, we have to have a meeting. And I don't know if I want to be in the meeting or not, but that is wrong.
Then I'm just going to make very sure that I don't get caught.
Because we have those columns out in the front of the building, and I'll make sure you're not peeing out there.
Well, those are on camera, so I would never.
I'd find it just right outside of the reach of the cameras.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Basically, Chris was telling us how he hasn't heard a single cicada. And I was like, are you sure you haven't heard an abundance of yard work in your neighborhood? But it's not yard work.
It's not weed whackers. It's the cicadas. He must just be inside the whole time or something.
I don't know. Every area is different for what you're hearing and what you're not hearing.
Chris lives in a concrete jungle.
That's it.
And Nikki and I are out in nature. We live near the trees.
Apparently, but even I'll go in different parts of my neighborhood and it'll just be like a chorus over here and silence over there. And it really depends on if the trees behind you are old enough.
Right.
I think that's the biggest difference for some areas.
You know what I was thinking was really weird is where the studio is.
Yeah.
They call it Tree City, USA.
But
you would think we would have a lot of cicadas.
But what's around us?
What do you mean, farmland?
Yeah.
But there are trees, though. Not that far away. No. Just not enough. Not enough.
I think they tore most of those things, and so that's why we don't hear them here at RadioU.
Yeah, well, if you just take the I'm not saying the like turn right. I just mean if you take the right turn out of the studio, you soon enough will find the cicadas. You will.
They'll be there. Say that ominously.
If you, or they'll find you, so
that they can pee on you.
Yeah, right. You know what? Chris doesn't have it so bad. Just avoiding them completely. Good for him.
That would be good.
You know where I wonder if you can avoid the cicadas in basically a lot of the Asia Pacific region, and maybe that's why they're so high on this list of the most livable cities in the world.
So the economist.
Economist?
I hate that word.
Economist.
Wow. In my mind, that is coming out something different.
The economy. You don't want the economy going bad. It's taking a turn for the worse.
The EIU basically released a list of livable cities globally. So the world's most livable cities in 2021. So this year, they gave the top 10 rankings. So even with pandemic stuff still going around, they say that. And city decline is still real, because people want to move away from higher populated areas.
Right.
So even with all that, what's the livable cities for people where they want to be?
Well, I'll start at number 5 and count us down.
Sure.
Number 5 is Tokyo, Japan. Number 4, Wellington, New Zealand. Number 3, Adelaide, Australia. 2, Osaka, Japan. And number 1, Auckland, New Zealand. So I'm sensing a bias here, maybe.
It's a lot of Australia. It's a lot of New Zealand. Switzerland came in still up to 10 with Zurich and Geneva for both of those.
Switzerland is the only, if you look at the top 10, the only country that's not in the Asia Pacific
It's called
region.
the Livability Index, and it ranks cities based on 30 factors: stability, healthcare, culture, environment, education, and infrastructure.
Yep.
And they say that because New Zealand and even Australia were able to lock down easier than more larger areas, that has led to them being higher on this list during this year.
Livable just literally means you won't die as likely there.
Pretty much. That's it.
I do question the ranking just because, or I guess I just don't know if I want to be number 1, because it's like
best?
if you're Auckland, New Zealand, it's like, come to Auckland, we're livable. It's not exactly like a real great adjective for your town.
For New Zealand, and I think I know for like Japan, like you can go there and you can travel and you can stay for a while, but like especially Japan, you can't really, like, unless you're there, you can't really move and stay there the whole time and like become a resident of it. But they are still relatively open when it comes to healthcare systems, with COVID and their response towards it.
Yep.
Let's see, Honolulu was the biggest gainer on the index.
Okay.
That was also locked down more.
Yeah.
Moving up 46 places.
Because these are island nations, a lot of them. So they're more isolated in a way, or Honolulu, an island state, or you're just isolated from everything, which when you're coming to the virus, that's actually kind of good.
They say that did help them during that time. They said Asia ranked well below North America and Western Europe, according to the EIU. They say that, there's other parts where there's more unrest and stuff. They are farther down as a livable city.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder I would guess it's Honolulu based off of the city, based off of the rankings. It was 14th. So I guess that was the top American city.
I would love to live in Japan.
You would?
I would pick that totally.
You don't think it would be too crowded for you or anything like that?
Nope. I would just be like, hey, Nikki's in Japan now.
I think well, we should do it for the show. We'd have a whole different area of content we could cover.
I want to live somewhere else where it's like vacation living and suddenly you're way more wealthier. You don't have a job.
We all?
You're just having a really good time and you live there.
I think I would turn that down.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Summertime is here, and that might mean you're spending a lot more time in the pool area. But as we know, when you've got longer hair and you've got chlorine in the water, it causes havoc, doesn't it, Nikki?
I do. I have to put a spray on, otherwise my hair turns green. And you're like, is it a cool green? No, it's not. It is a ugly green that is bad.
Oh, I'll have to be watching out for that.
Well, it's usually in the bottoms. Like, I'll put my hair up, but people are like, have a good time, get in the water. And you're like, I pay too much for this hair. I can't. I can't get my hair.
We'll come in on a Monday. Oh, look who went swimming.
Yeah, it's always the bottom half, back part of my hair that'll turn like a really interesting green. And the only thing you can really do is, besides spraying it with a certain stuff, is wear
cut
like
it off.
Oh, no. That's drastic. Hey, you have long hair, too, so don't talk. But like a swim hat, sort of swim cap thing. But
and those are never flattering, are they?
I've never tried it, and I don't think I have the confidence to pull that off.
Yeah.
So I'll just stay above and not go in and under the water.
Keep your hair up out of the water. Well, maybe this will do the trick for you. Ketchup.
What does ketchup do?
Ketchup, with the acidity of the tomatoes and the vinegar in it, is going to be a nice hair mask for you whenever you're feeling the effects of chlorine. And this is according to Hemming Willis, who is the wife of actor Bruce Willis.
Oh, interesting.
For some reason, she's
the special person with it?
She's a beauty expert. Oh, Emma Hemming Willis. I'm sorry. I'm missing her first name there. Emma Hemming Willis. And she was talking about this on the Today Show.
Oh.
She's a beauty expert according to the Today Show, which means I trust everything that Today's Show says. I trust everything that Emma Hemming Willis says.
Beauty experts are just when people are good looking and they're like, yes, let's put you on TV. All right, talk about the ketchup in the hair.
I really like how, literally the quote is what I said. The tomato and vinegar is very acidic. So what it's going to do is just sort of help with that chlorine buildup in your hair. That's not especially informative. But maybe on the Today Show, that's informative enough.
That's all they got.
That's what they need.
They say, don't be afraid. Put it on thick and then put your hair up for like 30 to 90 minutes.
Is this before or after?
While it's on your hair. So just
but I mean, like before you go swimming.
After.
After we've got chlorine in our hair.
And then you wash ketchup out with shampoo and conditioner, and then they say, I'd be interested in trying it as long as it wouldn't dye my hair then like ketchup color.
Yeah, ketchup is known it can cause stains on like your clothing and carpeting and.
See, I have to use a purple shampoo, and you have to wear gloves.
Okay.
when you shampoo your hair with it, because blondes, we can get brassy.
It's like you're going into a science lab.
It is. It's like, what is going on? But ketchup, maybe we should try this.
It feels like too much effort for me because we know my whole thing is the least effort possible.
Sure.
The most lazy I can be is how I'm going to treat my hair.
Well, why don't
So it feels like a lot for me, but you could try it.
It's not. Why don't you just save it for dinner and just a little ketchup on your plate and then just go wee all
There's
over
never
your hair?
ketchup left over on my plate at dinner.
Or take your plate and just rub it on your hair and then just let it sit for 90 minutes and wash it out.
Let's see
and tell
if it
us if
works.
you like it.
I don't know. I don't know if I trust Emma Hemming Willis.
But she's a beauty expert, Hudson.
But what are her qualifications? Besides
Beautiful.
being married to Bruce Willis, who obviously knows nothing about hair.
Hudson sees the glass as half empty. But get this. He thinks a glass half empty is good. The Riot. Radio U.
Times are tough when it comes for housing. You can't buy
this
anything.
One makes me mad.
Yeah, it does. It really does. We might have to post this. It is an apartment in Brooklyn, New York, as opposed to the other Brooklyns. And it's caught our eye because it has the shower is in the kitchen. The shower is neatly nestled straight across from the stove, right between a very minuscule fridge and the sink with all the cupboards.
So basically, if you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and it's like, this is the cabinet / sink thing that's already built.
Right.
You get the kitchenette there. You get an actual pretty sizable shower. Like, it's pretty big.
Yeah. The shower is bigger than the fridge.
And then a small, tiny fridge with this place that has a very short, not very tall closet that doesn't have a door. Like, this is all weird.
Yeah, this looks like.
Oh, actually, did you see the overview? They say luxurious or weird? Kitchen or bathroom vibes. You decide.
Wow, they're trying.
Yeah, they're just going with it.
For $1,600 a month, you could have this. It doesn't even say how many square feet. It is a negligible amount
It's
of
so
square feet.
small.
Yeah, they couldn't measure it. It's square inches.
This price for a spacious loft apartment is rare for the area. Unit comes with separate kitchen and with windows and sectioned off sleeping area with toilets. That is bad. And the toilet room looks bad too.
It does. It's one thing when you're trying to do a little with a lot with this space, or a lot with a little, I guess, with the space.
Know.
But then you look at some of the pictures. Actually, I've got a different angle for the shower.
Yeah.
And even the shower is disgusting looking when you actually look at it.
Well,
they did not try cleaning.
Sometimes you can't. Like you just can't clean
there's
enough.
only so much you can do.
Oh, that's sad. That's just, and you know what's bad is that's probably like, wow, this really is spacious.
Yeah, for $1,600, that's a deal in New York.
You just have to store everything in your shower in your kitchen.
There is nothing to store.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Every once in a while, even when you're doing radio, you see so many stories, so many surveys come along. And every once in a while, there's still one that just shocks you. And that's what I've got right here. Nikki, can you believe this? According to this new survey, I think it's done by a company called One Poll, and they say that over half of all Americans don't think that dinosaurs are still roaming the earth.
They don't. Well, that leads the other side.
So nearly half of us still believe that dinosaurs are roaming the earth.
I'm surprised that's such a balanced number between right in the middle. I thought it'd be leaning more one way.
You would think more people would know that dinosaurs are still around.
Oh, is that it?
You would think that.
This is a poll out of just 2,000 adults, so they might have just hit an area.
They just picked a bad batch.
It could have been just an area where they just weren't sure. And sometimes I think it's our fault that movies are so convincing and shows are so convincing that you might not realize some of that is not
the movie
real.
All the Jurassic Park stuff doesn't really make as much sense if dinosaurs are still roaming around.
I don't know.
It kind of renders that whole movie kind of insane.
Sometimes I guess the last, like, say Godzilla, the Godzilla and Kong one, when you were watching that, and you're watching it going, well, I mean, you don't know what's in the ocean.
Yeah, right.
Like, you could still have things like that. But for this, they're just saying that nearly half of Americans out of the 2,000 that they polled believe that dinosaurs still exist in some form or in a remote part of the world.
What I was going to say is I'll give them some of these half the benefit of the doubt of maybe they're the type that are like, well, how do we really differentiate what's a dinosaur? Like maybe a Komodo dragon would qualify.
Or like a shark, like certain things there.
Some of those sharks that are like down in the deep sea, they've been around, like they lived. The actual individual sharks live for hundreds and hundreds of years. So maybe who knows how long they've been around. They
say 54%, again, out of the 2,000, believe that dinosaurs only lived in Africa and North America, despite scientists, finding dinosaur bones all around the world.
Well, I'm wondering maybe that's the only two continents these people could name. Those are the only two continents.
I don't think we would do well if we were the ones going around getting the survey study information. Be like, I'm sorry, what do you think?
But we're so wise. Oh, yeah. You mean, I thought you meant we would fail these too.
No,
we'd be like, they put us on the spot and we'd be like, Africa.
Like, North America.
That's where they were. Africa.
No, I think it'd be odd if we were the ones writing down people's responses.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it would be hard to keep a straight face.
Well, this just... file this under, they're saying, loads of misinformation.
Yeah, which we didn't have a part of earlier. When
we missed it. National Dinosaur Day was on the 1st.
Oh, okay. How did we not celebrate?
Well, it is Donut Day today, so let's not make the mistake with today.
To get our free dinosaur. Why wasn't that story published?
Oh, like a museum or something.
Yeah.
Or in a remote part of the world, because they're still alive.
They're still alive somewhere.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at RadioU.com/donate.